Hey, did any of you have trouble finding your needle nose pliers and your cutters and your scissors when you're out fishing? You look around and you don't know where they are in the boat. I mean, I know you got compartments where you're supposed to put them, but how many of you put them in those compartments? I know I don't. Wow, that's a beauty. All right, we're going to be looking on May 11th at Exodus 23:2. Exodus 23:2. You must do no wrong just because everyone else is doing it. Oh my word. You must do no wrong just because everyone else is doing it. Did God write that this week? Did God write that for 2021? Did he really? I mean, in this woke society we're in this society where sometimes you have to conform to things that you don't believe and that you know and think is wrong just to keep your job. Well, can I tell you, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Let's see what I wrote on that back in 2005. Have you noticed that when a hot new lure comes out, it's not long until every other company has one just like it? By the way, if you're not subscribed to the Catch of the Day channel on YouTube, hit that subscribe button right now. Right now. It's the most important channel on YouTube. We got about 16,000 people on this channel now. It's growing every single day. It will change your life. If you have some friends that need their life changed, and we all do, tell them to subscribe to Jimmy Houston's Catch of the Day on YouTube. Doesn't cost anything. It's a free subscription. Doesn't cost you a penny. And it will be the best channel that you will ever subscribe to. I promise you. You watch it right on your television. Most new TVs now have YouTube as one of the apps on TV. Okay, we was talking about people coming out and making imitations of hot new lures. Sometimes the imitations sell better and they catch more fish than the original does. This is indeed a copycat business, and it happens at just about every lure that somebody comes up with. And I've developed a lot of fishing lures over the years. The good ones have all been copied. The bad ones I didn't copy. Unfortunately, this need to imitate is a byproduct of human nature. So when you're wanting to kind of follow the herd, do what everybody else is do, it's human nature. It's not anything wrong with that. We tend to follow the group, but here's the problem. Whether it's right or wrong, whether it's moral or immoral, we tend to follow the group. One of the biggest falsehoods in our morality and values is that if everyone is doing it, it must be okay. The truth is, wrong is wrong. Right is not to be compromised just because everyone else is doing it. We see this happen in teenagers all the time. You and I are probably just the same. I can vouch for myself. It was pretty easy to follow the group. We all wanted to be popular. We all wanted the girls to like us. If everybody was doing it, we thought we ought to be doing it too. One thing that I never ever did, it was just kind of amazing, and it was because of a basketball coach. I probably have told that story before, but I never smoked a cigarette. I never smoked a cigarette, and I might be alive today because I never smoked a cigarette, because I have a lot of friends that I went to high school and college with that died at a lot earlier age because of cigarettes and cancer. So never did that, even though back when I was in school, most all the kids were doing that. The truth is, wrong is wrong, right is right. Our values, our morals, our rules of life come from God. There you have it right there. Our values, our morals, and our rules from life come from God. They don't come from a woke society. They don't come from an organization. They don't come from a television network. They don't even come from a president of the United States. They come from the man that created and hung the moon and stars. They come from God Almighty. This is where our values, our morals, and our rules for life come. God even wrote it down in a book. It's called the Bible. You take that Bible, you read it, you believe it, you live your life that way, you will amaze the world. You will amaze the world. You will be the most successful person you could ever imagine. You'll be far more successful than you can ever imagine. You take that Bible. It's got the values, the morals, and the rules for life that you need to live by. You read it and you live by it. Oh my word. What a great person you're going to be. As God's people, if you are a saved, born-again Christian, you belong to God. As God's people, we simply must live by God's law and not be swayed by the thinking and action of everyone else. Christians are being attacked in this country. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But can I tell you, we're at a point where even particularly some larger corporations, if you don't think or believe a certain way, you might lose your job. But you still got to do what's right. I remember some situations in the Bible where little Hebrew teenagers would not compromise what they believed. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. 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 Oh, my belly goes. My belly needs to go a little bit. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego thrown into a fiery furnace. The king looked down and said, I see 4 men walking in that fire, and the 4th looks like the Son of God. Daniel thrown in the lion's den. Over and over and over, situations in the Bible where men, sometimes teenagers, did not compromise their values, and yet God rescues them. If you're fired from your job, which is unconstitutional, by the way, but it's still happening in America right now. If you're fired from your job because of what you believe and you're doing what's right, can I tell you, God will find you a better job. He'll find you a better job. Been there, done that. As God's people, we simply must live by God's law and not be swayed by the thinking and actions of everyone else. All right, here's a tip for this week. You know, I paid my way through college selling catfish. We did a lot of things, not just selling catfish, but we paid our way through college doing about everything you could do around a lake. We lived on Lake Tenkiller, fortunately, and we learned a lot about fishing. We learned a lot about hard work, and we made it through and got a college degree. Black perch make great trot line bait for large, early season catfish. Here's the great thing about black perch. You got to catch them. You got to catch them, and you can go out and catch 100 or 150 black perch or a bluegill, and you'll catch sunfish and copper-nosed bluegill and all different kinds of bluegill and perch. But you catch black perch is the very best, and you would not. You go out and catch 100 perch, what we call perch or bluegill. You go out and catch 100 to put on your trot line. You might only have 15 or 20 black perch in there, but they're the very best catfish bait. If you rod and reel with a catfish bait, catch you some black perch. I would go out and take little bitty tiny artificial worms, little small ones, and but you can go out and catch those just about under any willow tree. I would kind of use a rod and reel, a spinning rod or a casting rod, use it kind of like a fly rod. But I was catching those bluegill and having a great time, baiting my trot line, catching a catfish, selling them, paying for a college education. And here we are with a couple of college degrees, fishing for a living. Ain't God good? Ain't God good? Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, gosh, I love you.